Thank you.
Okay.
So we should say that we're calling the meeting.
Yeah, to
Oh,
order, yeah.
Of
at
the
6.
budget, Belgrade Budget Committee to order.
We call the Belgrade Budget Committee to order at 6:10. 4 present, 2 absent. Okay, so, our basically agenda here is, to go over the schedule of switching to a July 1st, June 30th fiscal year. And the things that we have to kind of complete or get in line for fall of 2025. Let me just go right down through the bullets, Lorna, or you want to do the bullets?
So, either way, if you feel comfortable, you'll do it, go ahead, and if not, I will.
Okay, then, the town manager and department heads prepare a 6-month bare bones budget. No capital expenditures or other increases to take on from January 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2026 to present a budget committee and then select board. Anybody have any questions on that first bullet? Second bullet, do not include county tax for 6-month budget paid at the end of 2026. Snowplow contract payments first half of year only. Schedule a special town meeting to adopt the 6-month budget in January. No audit would be ready yet. Have this ready for June 2026. No town report would be ready yet. Have this ready for June 2026. So on that would be like an 18-month
Yeah, I think,
annual report.
I think once we get, what Mary and I were talking about that today, because it's extremely expensive to do the town report.
Right, I just, so I guess.
And we wouldn't, I mean, a town meeting in January, how would you have an audit or town report
Right.
ready for the year that ended December 31st?
We
Is
won't
it-
have it.
It would
I
be,
mean,
it
I
would be
asked 2 months
impossible.
in advance for the department heads and their letters, and I'm lucky if I get some of them late.
Yeah,
So, it's, yeah,
plus the expense, what do we spend, 9,000?
I think it was more like 10.
So 10,000
10 to $11,000.
for the annual
Oh,
report.
gosh.
I know.
Well, that's because we're mailing them out to all the taxpayers. We probably got back 300 or more,
Really?
and I didn't go pick them all up.
How many you mail usually?
All of them.
So how many,
About
1,000?
3,000.
3,000? So you get back about 10%.
About 10%,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's not bad, too bad, but I mean, we should figure out the 300 we get back. And so we don't mail it to them again.
That would be hard, that would be difficult to do,
that the
because properties are always changing hands, so that's a huge.
Are we
issue.
required to mail them or can you
We
make
are
them
not.
available?
I am not aware of any other community that mails.
No,
Really?
Usually you put, my experience, you put cases of them at strategic locations, like
Absolutely. Post
at a
office,
store, post office, town
Yeah.
office, and people pick them
Sunset
up.
Grill.
And then you replenish, but then you replenish the case if they,
course.
when they're out, they just let you know and you take another case.
I think the
Makes-
mailing cost itself was around
It was a lot.
4,700 by
Because-
itself, and then
And
the
then you're
printing
also
was
not,
around.
you're not required to go with select document, are you?
With a what?
Can't you just go with a copied documents? In other words, these are very nicely put together books. They're bound.
Mhm.
Why do we do that?
That's,
I don't, it's
That's
probably
normal
not for
to
this
do a
meeting.
town
It
report
is
that way.
normal to
Yeah.
do the town report,
Well,
but
but normal is expensive.
yeah, yes, you're right.
We're paying for
only
this.
expensive when you start mailing it out.
Because you also have to provide it to the state.
Yeah.
You have to provide a copy to the state.
Yeah.
So probably this year, well, we're back up, so. Annual report for 2026 is probably be a little heavier than normal.
Well,
Annual
we were
reports, right?
talking, why couldn't we, or we talked about the idea, we were just thinking out loud. What if you did a 6-month section, almost like chapters in a
That
book,
would
a
work.
6-month section to cover January,
Yes.
June. And then the, it would also be the So it'd be January, December, 2025,
Mhm.
and then it would be January, June, 2026, and that would have to
Combined, they
be,
would give you an annual. report.
right.
Yeah, I like that.
That way you're not doing two printings.
Not
Yeah.
the
You're
printers.
not asking for reports twice,
Right,
right? I would assume, I don't know how they would do the audit, how Jen would do the audit, but we could start talking.
I mean, but, you know, but yes, it's gonna take a few more pages, 1 year. But it's 1 year, you know, and then we'd be back to our normal size.
Right, then it would always be June.
Right, and we'd be back to our normal size annual report,
Yeah.
it'd be an escalate upwards. You know, for the cost of printing and so on and so forth, because we have added pages.
Unless you if you reformatted the, information from committees, departments and like that, instead of a page for every single one. If you
Break down the half
reformatted that,
pages,
you
and I do
could-
try to do that, but
you could probably,
some people exceed
Yeah.
what's been.
we could be
asked.
pretty strict though.
Yeah. Well, and I really think that we should rethink about sending those out in mail. We printed, it was just under 3,000. And
And
it cost us about $10,000 to do that printing. Then we add on
4,000 to mail,
at least,
so $14,000.
yeah,
Boy, that would be something I'd argue against.
So can you get the figures on that in our next budget meeting we have, can we see that? So maybe we can make some recommendations?
Is there any,
I'm always ready, Bruce, to make a recommendation,
Okay.
always.
Mary,
just email it to everybody?
yeah, is there any
You
reason?
can email it to a number of people.
No, is there any reason why we cannot create a PDF that we can put in the
Of course
website?
you can.
In the
It is on the
of
website.
in our
it's
website,
already on the website.
and
on the
we just email it. Whoever wants a copy, we can
The town
email it.
report is on our website.
But the problem is when people go to town meeting, they want that hard copy.
Well,
Oh, well,
you can
I
make them
get that,
available to the.
But
Yeah.
maybe
places.
decrease the number that we actually print, because we do have those returned. There were more
For the
that I just didn't
media-
get picked up at the post offices.
for a town meeting, you
They
want
got
like
costs.
100 or 200.
And I mean, and Kenny gets them at the transfer station. And
Well,
he,
tries
and
to
he,
bring them
and
in.
he keeps watching, he'll bring them in.
I mean, like the ones that come back post office, you do, they don't pick up, those go right to the trash.
It's not
They
a
go to the
collector's
transfer
item.
station.
We don't collect them. I mean, some guy, Jack's got some still.
I do, I got all mine, I got like 20 years.
Most of us don't
25 years.
collect them.
Yeah,
Anyway, it is a lot of
It's a
money.
consideration.
And I think it adds to the lead time to have it to the
No.
printer as well, because you have to have time to mail them out.
Yeah.
Right?
The extra time. of
Yeah.
mailing.
Bruce,
Yeah.
I don't want it.
The
It
big
is
stress,
finance.
well, you
Yeah.
got all your years
Finance.
in percent.
It's awful.
It's the memorials and stuff, was the biggest ones. Yeah. So,
So we're thinking town report, an 18-month for June 2026.
yeah,
Um. And
So-
we just got an updated draft of the budget, so, I mean, not the budget, the audit.
oh, yeah.
Jen sent it, she sent, I don't know, I haven't looked at all of it, have you looked at it?
Mhm.
She doesn't usually send us Excel spreadsheets along with it. I don't know
I
where-
think there are adjustments.
She had one file, adjusting journal entries, yeah, but there's another one, she's got all sorts
There's
of stuff in
like
there.
three.
There's three.
Different attachments.
Anyway, so I think, in my opinion, getting a 6-month budget ready is gonna be fairly easy and straightforward. If we,
I mean,
if we base it off this
Right.
year's budget,
we
But
kind
you're
of
just talking an operating budget, right? You're not
Yes,
talking anything
correct.
beyond that.
correct, yep,
yeah, so we got what I think what the major thing we have to look to is come. In July, we need to look to see how close. Each department was on their first 6 month, you know, did they use half their budget, did they use a third of their budget, you know? Am I saying that right? You know,
yeah, I know what you mean. We'll have to have the budget for June for the next fiscal year, we'll have to start working on that in February.
Yeah, that's gonna take some time. Cause it's a little different, so
Yeah,
they gotta, granted, it's the same budget, but they gotta figure the time frame and
right.
different.
It'll be more like what we just did.
Right.
Right,
Because they've already been spending 6 months of it. Before, before we do the 1 year, so it's gonna be confusing for them a little bit, but I think. It's all the same, but it's gonna be different, I guess.
well,
I get
because
that.
you have different expenses for different
Different times
times
of
of
the
the year.
And the other thing to think about too is the social service request, and do we want to change that time frame or change that policy somehow so it works?
I mean, it's,
Because if we're doing a budget from, right, January first through June of 2026, that's going to change that whole thing.
I mean, it's like facilities, for facilities, that first 6 month budget is gonna be a big meat because, not rounds for it, but the buildings, because we're in heating mode and our darkest part of the year, so
Plus
electricity.
plowing.
Yeah, and plowing, so that's, that's one department
And
that's,
getting fields ready for summer, like the Kenneth Workman Field, getting our parks ready,
so it,
gearing up for
the cemetery.
summer camp.
Yeah.
Cemetery, opening cemeteries
So
in
it-
May.
So we gotta make sure, it's gonna be
We're gonna have to put some thought into it.
right, so we don't short ourselves.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything on that first part for the fall schedule?
Already said it.
You said boy, you didn't say ball. Okay. Things to be accomplished by early 2026. Hold special town meeting in January to vote on 6 month budget. Elect offices carry over to June. How does that work? Can we
Yeah.
do that on the floor or does that?
That kid, so anybody who would have come up for re-election,
Yeah,
We'll do 3
or-
more months,
yeah, they automatically carry
3 more
over
months, yeah,
automatically.
okay.
Yep, so you don't hold elections until June
yeah,
instead of March.
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's good, because that was one thing I was a little worried about.
Yeah.
Tax commitment should be done February/March with tax bills out and due in May of 2026. Prepare town report for fiscal year 2025 to have at June town meeting. Have audit ready for 2025 for June town meeting. There are no election of municipal offices at the January town meeting. Select board offices automatically hold to June 2026. The town manager, department heads and budget committee and select board work on and preparing the year budget for June, which will cover July 1st, 26 through June 30th, 2027.
Which is, would be the same as our standard cycle. now.
Right.
Right,
Yes,
just a different.
it's just gotta get your mind in
Same,
a
but
different
different.
aspect, that's all. That's basically it is, just get everybody's mind trained a different one,
Yeah,
so.
instead of in the fall, starting on the next annual budget, we'll be starting in the spring.
Okay, June, things to be ready for June 2026, annual town meeting in June 2026. Voters would approve the budget from July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Election of officers at this meeting, town report and audit for 2025 at the town meeting. From this point forward, the annual town meeting will be held in June. Town reports are prepared and published as usual going forward. March through April 2027. Work on budget for July 1st, 2028 through July 30th, 2028. Have town report ready for January 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027 ready. Election of officers for June.
I had a question too. Normally since I've been here, we've been starting the budget process in early October, usually
Right.
first week or so, we start meeting. if we want to have the budget ready for a January town meeting, what would be our
60
deadline?
days, 60 days for referendum articles to,
Would we have any referendum articles on?
what's that?
Would we have any referendum?
Would
articles?
we
Well-
do any of the special
Would we
requests or
want-
anything like that, or would we wait until
Would you
June?
want to? Well, that's it. Do we
Probably wait
want to
until
wait
June.
Until June, so
What-
that would change the social service request policy.
Correct.
So that's one thing that we would
I would
have
wait-
to
I
notify
would notify them and wait until June.
those people that, right,
They may lose out in 6 months, but they can. Run by for,
But I mean, not really, because their request will cover them
correct,
to, right, June 30th of the following year, so they'll still apply for a 12-month funding cycle, it'll just be July 1 instead of January.
so I think special, the social service stuff should wait until June, I'm just one person, out of the 4 of us here tonight. But that would be my opinion, I don't think we need to have a referendum vote the Friday before, we're not voting any officers or anything
True,
like that,
that's
so I think we
true.
just do it.
ordinances
Right.
would be the only other thing, which
And I
don't
think-
have to go,
Yeah.
but we could hold off
I
on
vote
those
off on
too.
them until
Until
June.
And
I do it as lean as a town meeting as you can in January. That's my
That would be
opinion.
just a
A very,
special town
yeah,
meeting for
a very
whatever
lean.
decisions have to be made by the electorate,
Yeah.
that electorate, and then
Yeah.
a normal town meeting in June.
Yeah.
Yes,
Where you have your elected officials and all.
Yeah, just
so it won't be
very
a
lean.
special town meeting, it's still gonna be an
Annual
annual
town
town
meeting.
meeting
Yeah.
for that 6 months.
Yeah. Just a
So-
lean one, it's just gonna be a
Right.
lean
So we don't
budget.
wanna call it special only because then people will be like,
they won't,
are you
yeah,
pulling
they won't be
something?
inclined to come
Right.
either, maybe. I
Yeah.
think the annual town meeting, most people are familiar with, and it means more, and you know what I
Right.
mean, and they want to attend.
And I think we need to, start very early publicizing what, this, that,
Yeah,
We're gonna
nailing
have-
down a timeline, I think is most important,
Yeah.
that way we can put some promotional pieces together and start getting those out.
Nailing down a date,
Yeah,
I think is huge.
yeah,
so if we're we're not gonna do referendum for January, so we have
Right,
a bit of, I mean, you don't have to post
I
town
don't have
meeting in
to
the
do
warrant
that.
until 7 days prior.
I know, but that, yeah. We
But I
should
mean,
try
we
to do it a little
Yeah,
bit
I agree.
earlier, so people.
I agree, but
Yeah,
at least we're not having
Right.
to have everything ready
Right,
60
because of
days
the-
prior.
right, secret ballot referendum requirement
yeah,
So
so,
just exactly
and
what
the
is we're
public
gonna have to
hearing
decide
requirement.
in January.
Just a bare bones budget operating to
Just,
get us
just vote
through
for that
6
budget,
months.
that's it.
Get us
That's
through
it.
6 months, that's it.
Well, that's gonna, yeah, that'll. be a
No
short-
request on reserve accounts,
Nothing.
no, nothing.
Yep,
Nothing.
just a bare bones
That will
budget,
all
Yeah,
be
no,
done
that's good,
in
yeah.
June.
that's what I'm saying.
as simple as you can
Right,
get.
that's what I'm saying, the referendum's there, it's push it all to
Yep.
June, that's my opinion, I'm only
And
one
just use
person,
that
No, I
document.
agree.
Because essentially it's a real count.
I know,
it'll be in June,
Right.
Then you have a town meeting,
yeah.
a regular one, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
And I think our timeline thing is I agree with Mary, we need to pick a date, I think.
pick a date early and get the information out
I'm
there,
thinking, try to hit that mid-January,
right?
I think would be your best, like the. I don't know what day Martin Luther King falls on, but
It's usually like the 15th.
I don't have a calendar.
try to hit the third Saturday, try to do it like we do in March, the third Saturday in January.
I think that's a better date.
Yeah.
Because Martin Luther King is like the second week.
Yeah, I'm thinking that third Saturday in January.
So Martin Luther King is the 19th.
Probably.
So if you're looking at the Saturday, that would be the 17th.
Is that the third Saturday of January?
It is.
It is. Do you think that, anybody here, do you think having it on that weekend would be an issue?
I think we should do the following weekend, because that long weekend, people have plans.
The fourth weekend?
Family.
fourth.
So the
Saturday.
24th would be the 4th Saturday.
Mhm.
What do you think?
Sounds fine to me.
24th?
Cause I know most college kids are back to school the day after Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing to take,
Oh, so you think that if we.
I think we're
post it
doing
that
it,
Saturday,
I think we're doing it the right time, the 24th, that following, the Saturday after Martin Luther King, I think is the best time, because parents, or anybody that is traveling with their kids, taking them back to
Will be
college,
back.
will be back.
Yeah, agree.
You'll get 20 or 30 people there,
Yeah, all this.
Well,
what
it
you
depends
think.
on the weather too,
Yeah.
but the
then you
thing,
get 10.
well, we've had town meetings where there have been
We had
maybe
specials when
30
I was on the
people
board, where
there.
we had 5 people in there.
But it's the
That was
people
it.
there that vote,
But I
are we
wa-
gonna move
Yeah.
forward if it's sleeting out, or are we gonna cancel?
Well, you
We
could
move
open it
forward.
and move to, what is it,
So 40 people made the decision.
you don't
back
close
there.
it or whatever,
You can't close it
right?
unless the people that are in
Right.
attendance
2/3 of the,
have to vote to not hold the meeting.
you know,
Yeah,
well, I mean, being a bare bones budget meeting, I mean, a town meeting. If it is not a full vote of people, we're not voting on anything, we're not,
Significant
right, we're not changing anything.
changes or anything like that,
Yeah.
nothing new.
Right, we're not increasing budgets, we're not, you know,
And so you have some sense of it's okay because we've already had approval for the
Yeah.
25 budget. So if you're
Right.
working from that,
I mean, technically, yes, we're January, right now, we're January 1st to December 31st, but technically, we're budgeted to the third Saturday of March.
You're absolutely
In
right.
everybody's eyes, you know,
yes,
we're not, but we are, I mean, it's how everybody feels it, we're budgeted to the
yes.
third Saturday in March.
so is there any discomfort or break your tradition to having these town meetings before running the town meeting, have a potluck, a community potluck? I mean, these are things that we bring the
Are
community.
you gonna head it up?
Well, I can, I'll be happy to.
Or you can do breakfast and have it in the morning.
Well, you're singing my song.
Yeah.
I was
we can have-
very thrilled to see they had a bake sale.
Well, we can, well, that's, you know, these are the things that bring the,
They're bringing
Everybody together.
people out.
you
Yeah.
probably would get more people if you did that,
But it would be a lot of work, although.
but it would be a lot of work for someone to do.
well,
That's it. And who's gonna pay for it?
well, wait a second, I didn't say a caterer. I said potluck.
Yeah,
Potluck.
So
everybody
people
brings a
show
dish
up with
to
their
share.
stuff, the
Their
part that the
casserole.
town has to do is to set up the tables and then have but we have a fire department to do that.
Oh, the other thing I was thinking is just the Center for All Seasons is always looking for, a revenue source, that would be a very good revenue source, or right now, pickleball.
I was normally thinking of selling
Yeah.
the food, I was thinking of everybody
very good.
bring potluck and have a
Even if
free
they-
meal.
Do a potluck, a lot of people bring a dish,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and then they just do a $3 or $5 plate
Yeah, or
dish,
donations.
yeah.
Yeah.
or
You always
donations.
raise more if you just put a cup up.
That's
Yeah.
what we
Because
do
some people will slip a 20 in there
That's-
instead of, yeah.
instead of $3.
I mean, I did bake sale, I took 3 cookies and gave them a 20. you
Right,
know?
see?
I love that barbecue that I got to do every year, fire department does every year. It brings everybody together.
So how would anybody feel about this, start my meeting at 1 o'clock, instead of waiting till 1 o'clock in the afternoon?
On that January one, I
Yeah.
think that'd be fine.
I just think that we may get more people because come midday, people are out
I
doing
think we need-
things.
Right, I think we need to think about the same thing coming June, because it's nicer weather, you get started
Get
in the
people
morning,
in and
people are
out.
more apt to
I
come.
think that we need to change the time.
Because if they're out on the lake, they're not coming back in
No.
middle of the day.
No,
Yeah.
what you're
No,
gonna
attend-
get is what you're gonna get.
I know.
I mean, you can't force them.
No,
I mean, we can make it, rather than a lunch, we can make a breakfast potluck.
But but like muffins and
Yeah,
quiche
yeah.
and coffee
Oh,
and
oh, yeah.
juice, some fresh
That was so
fruit,
awesome.
right? Yogurt cups, parfaits.
We're gonna be the coolest town in
Donuts.
this thing.
The Girl Scouts already have a table. with it.
Cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
Make it decaf, you don't want those people to get.
Monte
Oh,
Cristo.
can't,
We can make
can't
a
take
Monte
that,
Cristo.
can't take the octane out of that stuff, I have to have that
We
octane.
so-
I just think that.
Wow. Give them a choice.
I think
I agree.
everybody's in
I
agreement.
think
I
that
agree.
we lose people.
So a morning meeting will be great. Having the breakfast, start the breakfast at 7:38, and have the meeting starting around 10 and be out by noon. Ah, perfect.
So,
That still gives people time
Right.
to
So
do.
what time are you gonna do it?
9
9
o'clock,
o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
meeting at 9,
So breakfast.
but you can do
This
breakfast
this is
prior.
a naturally occurring retirement community. We don't get up till 10.
Oh, now, come on.
Oh, come on, Gary.
That's
That's only your house. I'm up at 4 in the morning.
Or,
If you work, that's fine.
Yeah, but you called my house before,
Glad to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, 9:30, 10.
you called my house before 10 in the
I just
morning.
Well, because the doggone heat went.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and I think people with,
I was up at 4:30.
children in sports and things, they're more apt to be doing things.
Jameson does
I
games
do
in the afternoon.
late nights, it's my problem.
Yeah,
Baseball.
Have we solved that problem?
Yes,
Which I didn't think was a problem in the first place, so can we go on now?
in my opinion, we've basically covered what I wanted to nail down tonight, because it gets us going on starting to put some promotional, we have a date.
Yeah.
We can start going through the warrant, weeding out what we don't need, bare bones.
yeah, run this all by the select board to
Yeah.
make sure they're
Well,
on
I said-
board, because it is their meeting.
Right,
Yeah,
so that's why I
Yes, they
think
have to approve it.
we need to throw a date and a
A
time,
date and a time,
Yeah,
so, and get that approved of them, even at the next board meeting.
yeah,
yeah,
Get it
yeah, we can
approved,
put it right
so
on
that
the
gives
next
us
one.
something to work
Agree,
towards, or for, I
Yes.
should say.
yes,
and I will check with the, we outsource the tax bills. And I know inserting things, it was not always, accepted, so. but we
How many
need to get-
newsletters we got between now and then?
well, I was thinking today, I need to get one out, last year we did it was just summer events only, and it had the pull-out in the middle, which people liked. Especially folks who come just for the summer, they could pull it out and just stick it up
Oh,
on the
great.
fridge, whatever, and it had all of our events for the whole summer.
I mean, I think the sooner we start kind of knocking on the door, say, this is what's coming down the
Yeah.
road. The better, better people are gonna take it. I mean, I think people are gonna take it fine, it's just, it's gonna
Right,
be
it's
confusing.
a change,
It's gonna
so,
be confusing, because everybody's used to getting a tax bill in September.
Yeah.
I mean, in June or July and paying it in September. Now it's gonna be different, and just people are gonna get used to it.
and we talked earlier about the misconception that a lot of folks think when you're changing the fiscal year, that they are going to pay 18 months
Yeah.
of taxes in
Well-
1 year, and that's not true.
That, and Gary can remember this is how it was
It's been
explained to
around
us.
for 10 years,
Right.
everybody
Well,
arguing over.
Yeah.
You
This is
can
what
do,
happens,
you
yeah.
can do the 18-month was what was proposed,
Yeah.
not that you
Why
have to,
would
but that
you?
was an option.
Every
but
6 months,
Yeah,
That would be burdensome.
Yeah.
6 months.
Otherwise,
and that's
You're not
why we
paying-
never went, it's the way it never went anywhere.
Right.
But what we're doing now, how we're presenting it now, it makes sense.
There's
It was
really no
presented
change.
like that before.
except they get
It just
a
didn't take,
smaller bill
people
every
just-
6 months is all.
for some odd reason, didn't want to do it.
Well, there's one gentleman that was on the budget committee back and kept going around telling everybody 18 months of time.
Well, yeah, there was never the plan to do any 18. By the way, I thought this timeline was well put together.
Yeah.
I didn't see that you had, I didn't know why we met. Timeline
Well,
looked really good.
The select board asked the budget committee
I saw that, yeah.
to get together,
I'll be
and
talking
start,
to Carol about that.
start on this, so.
Asking the budget committee to do anything is not right.
Anyway, so,
Anything at all.
it was good to have you go over the timeline and say, yep, that looks about right, and it was good to kind of flesh out some of the particulars of when, setting a date to get that to the board for approval.
Right.
Talking about having a breakfast, great idea to bring more people in, starting earlier, so we hopefully get more people because they can spend the afternoon out on the water or wherever, if they want to in the summer.
The other thing I had a question about, I was gonna actually call you on it today and I never forgot to. Should we meet again? For a very quick, short meeting before the school budget goes to vote? So I know the select board puts their five recommendation, correct? Am I right or wrong on that, Mary? I think,
Carl is coming to the May
To the
6th
next
meeting.
right,
And I
Yeah.
posted the proposed budget, which it looks like we're down 80,000. Did you see that? For Belgrade? If I read that correctly?
We don't.
From RSU 18, we're down.
That's,
Yeah, say it.
it's on our website. I've got it posted on the school board page.
I didn't see it
Don't
either.
question it.
Yeah.
We're not down, we're not down, Lorna. I can tell you that,
For Belgrade?
for Belgrade.
Okay.
Nothing goes down.
Unless, I mean, our violations went up. And,
I
They
thought we
decided
were
not to
down.
hire Kyle.
and then we went up 2.7%. And out of every dollar, we paid 27%. So I don't think we went down.
So.
Well, I'm gonna pull it up while you
Yeah.
keep talking.
So I guess what I was asking, like, the articles for town meeting, you have five persons approve or no approval, you know, or no, to approve to pass
The votes,
The vote.
the articles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about articles.
Yeah.
Recommendation.
recommendation.
Yeah.
Right,
So I
but you
think,
guys will do the same thing
well, we haven't the last 2 years, and so I think we
as
should,
a group,
as a group.
right?
Maybe we as a town budgeted some more or ahead. And we had,
Need to come up with
In
a
the-
good
in our town bu-
timeline for the budget committee after things are all set, so there aren't so many meetings.
Correct. I
And
mean,
it is the holiday season that these meetings, you know,
Because-
anywheres from the 1st of November right through to
Which-
January.
that's
It's only 1 year,
right, after this year, it will,
It will
never do it
change.
again, yeah.
right,
That will be so good.
right, cause it's tough, I mean,
It is
you know,
hard.
it is tough.
It
And
is
it's tough,
hard.
and that timing is very tough for me, or work wise, because I got people like Gary
Old
calling,
people will get up and call you at 6 in the morning, right?
complaining their code.
Well, not just
Yeah,
that, yeah.
Hey, what did you
It's
do
it's
last
the
night?
holiday season.
So
Same
where's the
thing?
rest of it?
Yeah, yeah, I think,
Did you
Oh,
see
I
my
see
little?
Bill-
yeah,
Belgrade.
well, before I came down, I saw that, I said, "Wow." I said, Gary looked it up, I said.
So
"It's
the
found,
second
same thing
one
I found."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
7 and-
Well, not found,
I
I
got
got,
a kick out of it. I asked,
287.
I have a,
Say
on my
three.
AI box.
Yeah, 80 on
It
this.
came up with that with a little drawing and all, I thought, that's pretty neat, I'll leave it for Bruce.
so like I told Mary, when we was going down, I said.
Right, but I mean,
bet
if
that
you
mo-
look
I
at the
said, I bet
change,
that motor
so
can
287.
get you-
Yeah, it probably
27%.
is.
We're-
It's, so it
that
works
we're
fine,
minus
it's get a real
76.
hard
Yeah.
weight, and then it's really struggling to.
But we're still more.
I looked up
Yes,
new
yes,
power
I didn't
plants,
realize there were two.
and I talked to you about it, you
Okay.
said, yeah, about the same, but.
That was
So
good
about-
job.
Well, that was
good job.
So about 210,
And
That,
a little more electronic. something.
about 210,
200,000.
You're-
about 200,000.
Yeah.
Yours is still the
I
same,
know.
identical,
What-
it's identical,
What is that?
Yeah,
It's better than
it's the
half a
same
mil
machine,
or a mil,
identical machine.
right?
Haven't changed,
We
haven't
don't-
changed.
That's a
thing.
No, I
lot,
know
though,
you
with
haven't.
the
No,
tiny-
yours, and if I had to go to replace it,
Oh, it'd be the same
it'd be
thing.
the same thing,
Wait,
Okay.
yeah.
We didn't have to-
Because yours is electronic already.
So replacing the motor might be something you want.
Well, not when we
Yeah,
have
that's
slush
it.
fund.
I figured we'd do it.
When you get time.
Get
Yeah,
that
we
in
recorded,
thing.
Yeah, that's good.
I
I
know.
got a young fella working
When
with
they
it
say
now, so.
anything
Yeah, that's what you said, you got the guy.
Yeah, I started
Not-
yesterday, high school,
Yeah,
the high
It's
school
it's
junior,
truthful, what you
then
said.
come in and he's like, it's so far, 2 days, it's 2 days in.
I mean, he wants to make a living and make money and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah, looks like he's
high school junior.
yeah, he's a gung ho, I'm impressed. You don't see many of that anymore.
Who's this?
The Kid I had, out of China. Believe it or not, he goes to Coney, vocational for plumbing and heating.
Huh.
So, he's a junior this year, so he's working this vacation and he's gonna work through summer vacation and his days off,
Nice.
through school.
Now, through the training at Coney, can he become a journeyman?
He'll be apprentice, but so that will,
It's a way to go.
his hours will be
Learning
short,
the trade.
so he only
Yeah,
has,
because
I think he only has
A
to do
trade
9
like that
months.
is
He was
never gonna
journeyman.
go away.
Yeah.
Other
And
jobs,
after that,
Yes.
that is
does he have to
never.
go back?
No, no, not one.
No,
Or is he just, he's,
2 more years and go take another test.
Yeah.
After that, so taking about 4 years for this masters.
So,
So I think, unless anybody else here has anything else, I think that when the select board is gonna vote on the school budget. That we probably should be at that meeting,
okay,
call it a, you know, of course you have to check with Dan, but, have a portion of it. That we're gonna be discussing the and they're gonna be voting on them, so they're gonna discuss the school budget and vote on it at that time. Have the budget committee and us, you know, them there, and we do the vote like we do for town meeting articles.
Mhm.
At that time, I think. Maybe before that, I don't think we need to meet again on this part of this unless you do much more than towards the end of the summer, do you, or do you?
Yeah, I don't think so.
We set, you
I
know,
mean, even if we didn't meet again until October, we're just gonna. It will be much easier because we're gonna use the warrant articles, we
That we
can,
currently have,
and I mean,
and we're
department.
gonna start zipping them
Yeah,
up.
and department heads will know that there's nothing extra.
I mean, like in August, I'll have a little more time in August, I can probably come in and sit down with you for a few hours and go over some stuff and blah, 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 and
Perfect,
so.
yeah,
And maybe set up 2 meetings. For budget committee and select board.
I think it would be nice to have everybody together.
Yeah.
It-
It
It's
would be
been-
nice to do
it's
a
just
one
Straight
day.
operating budget, just, yeah. Why
Knock
not
it
just
out.
go over it? I mean, it shouldn't be any arguments.
Right.
Well, the second
Well,
meeting,
I mean, it should be just come in and vote on it
It's
and go
just-
home.
I
the
mean,
second meeting would be the articles.
Right.
The first meeting would just be. The budget.
right,
Approving
right,
everything.
approving everything and make sure we are covering our bottoms, you know.
Yeah.
For certain departments that are heavy, or a more heavy. Part of their budget is that first 6 months, and their last 6 months is their lighter part of their, you know, make sure we're, you know, budgeting properly so that. Are covered, we're not in trouble.
You just do the whole.
So, the other question I got, and I hate to bring this word up, so on that 6 month budget, we're gonna be. Cause this was discussed last year during budgetary time, line items. How are we gonna handle the line item budget? For that 6 months, are we gonna just come in and just do not have lines on the articles, just have a boom?
Legally, we're obligated to. Monitor and adhere to line items if that's the way it's presented.
Right, so,
And some of our departments are presented that way and some are not. It's
Right,
not-
there's
it's
no
not
consistency with,
right,
you
so
know.
I think, this is just me, I think that first 6 months, cause it's. You're gonna have heavier. Burdens on some departments. And certain lines are gonna be lighter, heavier, I think it should be a single line, a single line, or maybe a 2 line or something like that, articles. You know, so you don't have multiple line budgets.
Well, the thing is that admin's always gonna be higher than most other budgets. Admins and facilities are the ones that are really high.
For the first.
So you
And the
don't-
thing is that admin covers so much more than just the people that work in this office.
Well,
We're
and I
covering all
understand
the
that,
contracts. we're
You don't want it
covering-
broken down into
Right.
lines for each area. That's hard to do, I would think,
it is, but it's
because a lot
hard.
of times you'll find that if there's a problem, it's gonna be in, well, it's always. gonna
Well,
be in one of
you
those
can
lines.
break it down, but Lorna had a way, you had explained it last year when he was doing budgeting. You use that for your budget packet, but you don't write it into your article.
You don't have to.
Correct.
So you still show it for us for budgetary. But you don't write it in to be article.
But then you better have it for your backup for your town meeting, because that's where the question
Right.
is.
The
Right,
articles
as
are
long as
always
you have
past
that
town meeting.
information and you
Yeah.
can answer
Right.
any question.
Yeah,
And I think that's how we should do it. I mean, I know, you know, just, you know, public safety is the big one is. We can't judge our labor. I mean, we elevate our labor in some years. We have extra on that. That's how we buy fire gear, and SCBA's is with that extra we don't use on that labor. Some years like last year, guess what? Our labor was here.
Yeah, it was pretty high,
And our
the
labor's,
volunteer hours.
and our labor's
Yeah.
gonna be right here again, we're just. If things aren't slowing down on the public safety part of the town,
They never will.
it's increasing, and it's increasing severely.
And if you lose any coverage from any other entity helping back up or anything like that, it puts more of a burden
Yeah.
on the town.
Yeah,
So if the articles are more of a summary, what you're saying is that you're held accountable or liable to the summary. not to the detailed budget.
Correct.
Yeah,
So wouldn't you wanna do that anyway?
That's what I
I mean,
think.
you want some flexibility, right?
Right.
In my opinion, yes.
But that's the board's decision,
Yeah,
so.
and that's just
discussion,
my
that's
opinion.
part of a
I don't get a
discussion that
vote.
should be.
So that,
So that could be our.
Because that is
right,
Yeah.
So I
their
think-
warrant.
so when we we need to have be on their agenda at some point, so we can discuss. You know, have some time to have this type of discussion with them.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, we need to have it before budgetary time, I mean, I don't think right now, I know it's kind of busy because of school budget and we got the town, the fire department staff. So right now, we're in a busy time, but I think maybe after the school budget, we have that kind of a little bit of lull, maybe that's the time.
What, that's summertime.
Summertime, they still have 2 select board meetings a month, so.
Now, let me ask something. You mentioned that the select board was a vote on the budget for the school?
They make their recommendations.
Did they last?
yeah, but the people vote on the budget,
Right.
too. I mean,
Right.
the 3 people that go to that meeting will vote on it.
It used
the
to be,
four.
it used to be that the superintendent would come to, the school here and present what he was putting together as a budget, as a budget. And before the board voted, that was,
Oh, I didn't see it.
incorporated,
Sent it to the whole.
but that's not the case anymore. This guy put his budget together, but he wants,
I don't think that.
the
I
finance
did, but
committee don't have to say on
if
it.
I
to
did
get
see
the
it,
finance committee.
I'll forward it.
I'm always busy.
I know.
So.
And on his own, he creates a budget,
So many
That's stupid.
and the board votes it, and then
I know.
he will come here a day before the board votes, which is no chance to change anything, or after, now this year's after, the
It's
board
never
already.
made any difference what the board, the only time that budget has ever been voted down was probably 29 or 2010.
Yeah,
The town voted it down, and I think Rome did too, or one other town.
Rome and.
They had to go back to the
Yeah.
last year's budget. That's the only time.
It went down twice.
Twice,
It
it did
went
go
down
2 years
twice
in a row,
that
yeah. It should go down again, but it probably won't.
No,
Well, I mean,
I'm from the opinion that we have protocols in budget approval where we can reform that. So the budget was already passed by the board, but we have a town, budget district meeting where it's like a town meeting, where all the people from the town can go and say, I wanna change this article for this much or this much, and arrange the budget there the way people wanna see it.
But you got 7 towns,
We have 5 towns.
5 towns, rather.
We have 5 towns. Hey,
It's-
40 people can show up and they can do the changes and
they
so.
that's right, they
Oh,
can
yeah.
make changes.
Yeah.
It's a terrible
The
way. to do a budget
participation
to me.
is very.
Well, you know, I think
10 or less.
from the
About-
point of view of, as a person that come here from another country, I think it's great because you have 3 tiers of approval. You have your selected, rep that votes for the budget initially. I'll vote against it, so you guys know. That I was the only one that voted against it because the actuals are quite separate from the budget. I mean, it's, our actuals and our budget numbers are almost on top of each other in every town. And this budget over there is a complete gap,
Yeah,
you know, and it happened like that for a few years. It's not new.
that's why you need that assistant superintendent in there.
Well, you can go and tell that to the rest of the board, but I will tell you
He'll
something.
take care of that problem, that assistant superintendent.
So anyway, that said, I've been calling this out for 2 years and they don't get it. So I keep voting against it. The rest of the board doesn't get it too bad, but the towns, I think are getting the win of that.
Well, they get it. Belgrade's picking up the larger share.
Yeah.
There's nothing, that- yeah,
They're not
why
gonna
wouldn't
say
they vote
anything.
on it? Right?
So that said, well, it's immoral what is happening.
It is.
Having the actuals here and the budget here and not having tighter and closer is immoral. It's literally immoral. So that said, especially with no other town, no other budget in the town's operational, monies, none of that will happen. So that said, people, and if the people have not wakened already, but with all the, media that we have recently in the newspaper and information in the newspaper, they will never wake up. So that PAC meeting is a time to go in and, make changes. And then the budget is reformed to what the fiscal conscience of the towns is, and then close up there, and then we do the referendum in June, and we enjoy the summer. We don't have to vote it down in June, if we change it in that second tier of approval. But people have forgot, for years, it seems like people have forgot that we have that power. That second meeting, that second tier of approval is giving the power to the people of the town to change whatever they want. Direct. Yeah, when you go to a referendum, it's almost too late. You have to, it's a lot about either you take it or you don't.
It is,
but-
it's a yes or no.
It's a yes or no.
So how many votes do we have on the school board?
We have two people voting.
2 people voted, how many votes do we have?
Okay, but this is the thing. It's a total at the top, the points are 1,900. I'm worth 85. The guy from Rome is paid, 50.
I rest my case.
I know, I
I
understand
rest
that.
my case.
But then, we have to go, I'm fighting that in the state house right now.
You have,
Because we have to go both ways. We pay more
how
and we
long,
cannot change anything.
how long does it take to count the votes when the school board votes on something?
Oh, you only have, if Rome and Belgrade vote together, they only need 2 from China and we're over and done. I know, you don't have, you have been there, you know that.
It's a horror story.
It's a horror
So-
story.
So. There is a person, I mean, you've seen it, you must have got her emails. That is trying to get a group together for, I believe, that PAC meeting.
For what now?
The PAC meet, to go to the PAC meeting.
Oh, yeah, I used to go to those things.
But there is somebody
The
that's.
problem is that, well, you're always outvoted by parents, always. Parents go to.
No,
the
no.
meeting.
You know, been in those park meetings in the last 5 years I've been there, the only people I go there is about anything between 35 and 50 people, and all of them are the administrators with the spouses. So it's about 20 administrators that show with the spouses.
That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
the teachers with their spouses.
That's
Well,
it.
also parents.
No, we haven't,
Hardly any parents.
we haven't seen any parents.
Really?
No,
That's
no.
what I'm saying,
Parents.
that's what I'm saying, what that person that's doing the email,
Yeah,
trying to get people to. Meet, to go out there.
I gave up on that system a long
No,
time.
you should go this time. You renew your heart in democracy.
No, I won't.
Yes, you would. You're gonna miss a good one.
It's a system that's just completely, in my mind, broken.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's
I
fixing.
think the way, I disagree with you on that, Gary. I think the system of the 3 tiers is wonderful. In the State House, we had a big discussion about the referendum. We have a young, brilliant lady that is a legislator from, Lewiston. She is a Somali descendant. And she went and did a wonderful presentation on why the 3rd tier should be turned down. That it didn't make any sense that her Lewiston council would approve the budget, and then it will go in the PAC and it will get passed, and then only 50 people will go on the referendum and turn it down. So she make an awesome argument about those sort of things. Well, the argument was so good that I was there with something else, and I said, wow, if I be voting right now, I will vote right with you. Now, Representative Brennan from Portland, who have been in the State House for 3 decades, make a stand to speak and explain about why the referendum was installed like so. So he brought the name Baldacci, and I said, oh, I don't know where this guy's going with those things. So he said that when that whole law was passed, Baldacci was governor. And he made a big statement of having the referendum, because it was the last opportunity for everybody in the town have a secret ballot. The PAC meeting is everybody's voting live. You can see what everybody's voting for.
Yeah.
But referendum was a secret ballot that is a power we gave to everybody in the town to go in a secret ballot, pass the budget or not. So it is a 3-tier process, is determined to go up one way, down one way, and then the final today is all the peoples of the towns on a secret ballot. It's a sacred right. So when he said that, I said, okay, I changed positions, I'm going with you. No, it's, there's a purpose.
He's right.
Wait, yeah, there's a purpose, and this guy, and then that Republican, and this guy is that Democrat. And he brought that argument, and I said, wow, that was powerful. So, yeah. that's
Maybe
good.
they should have clickers at the validation meeting where you can vote electronically and nobody knows who voted what. It shows up on the thing. It's not Wi-Fi. It has its own,
There's
and
one
it's a
state that
clicker.
does-
They use them in Massachusetts
I
a
say there's a
lot.
couple
They are
states that
used
do
in
that.
New Hampshire. There are 2 towns right now that I researched that use it in the state of Maine. And for some reason, it has increased the number of people who show up to town meeting, because people don't.
Lauren's gotta
raise-
go get ready for her
Chemo.
treatment tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would suggest we all go home.
I gotta go roll one, right?
Anyways,
So do you, had any luck in Augusta?
you know what, Bruce, here's the corner, and I am the pivot point. So I'm holding it there, everybody's pulling on me, and we wanna make it, we're gonna move it, we're gonna turn the corner. So I'm the pivot point, I'm the one holding the whole thing,
Are you getting help?
I'm
from-
getting track.
Are you getting help from your town representative?
That's another discussion.
He answered my question.
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned, meeting adjourned. She said an hour, we're just under.
It was an hour, yeah. Well, actually, you were late.
You were late.
Six o'clock. 6 o'clock is tough for me. This time of year. I gotta still go open another can, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get Danny's house open?
No, we're doing that next week.
Are you?